to watch from start to finish. They're not just competing against each other, but against every team in the nation.
Is still Alabama.
Roll Tide and welcome everyone to the Crimson Tide production studio right here inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of Tide TV This Week. I am Kenzie Hughes and I am finally joined by my co-host Delaney Jones. Delaney, it is good to see you up here, girlfriend.
I am so excited to finally get the opportunity to host with you, Kenzie, and what a championship week it has been for Alabama. The Alabama gymnastics team competed at the NCAA championships this past week. The Tide competed in the regionals in Norman, Oklahoma.
That they did. The Tide competed in the semifinal round of the NCAA regionals against 9th-ranked Kentucky, Iowa, and Illinois. The top two from that session advanced to the regional final. Alabama scored a 49-175 on the balance beam to start, with Ella Burgess and Shania Adams leading the Tide with 9.90s. Then, on the floor, the Tide totaled a 49-40 with Lily Hudson and Luisa Blanco closing out the rotation with back-to-back 9.90s.
The Crimson Tide then scored a 49-275 on the vault in rotation 3, with Hudson and Gabby Gladio posting the highest scores of the meet on vault with matching scores of 9.90. Alabama then finished with a meet best 49-525 on the uneven bars as Makari Doggett scored a 9.950 and Blanco finished with a meet high 9.975.
The 8th-ranked Crimson Tide advanced to the regionals final with a second-place finish just behind Kentucky with a score of 197-375. Alabama and Kentucky then advanced to the regional finals against top seed Oklahoma and 15th-ranked Ohio State.
The top two teams from the Norman Regional would advance to the NCAA championships in Fort Worth, Texas.
But unfortunately, the Tide season ended at the regionals final. Alabama increased its rotation score in every event throughout the night, starting with a 49-275 on vault. Alabama then scored a 49-40 on the uneven bars, led by a 9.925 from Makari Doggett.
Luisa Blanco and Lily Hudson closed out Alabama's balance beam rotation with back-to-back 9.925s, leading the Tide to a 49-425. Alabama closed out the night with its highest rotation score of the night, a 49-550, on floor exercise to finish just 100th of a point behind Ohio State and 200th of a point behind Kentucky. Oklahoma and Kentucky moved on to the NCAA championships, while Alabama finished fourth with a team score of 197-650.
Such a hard-fought meet and an amazing season for them, but they've won an NCAA record 32 regional titles, but unfortunately, as we said, this season ends in Norman. A lot of positives to build on, though, for Coach Ashley Johnston and her squad in her first year.
She's absolutely had a great first season, but the season isn't over for everyone on the Alabama gymnastics team. Luisa Blanco will continue her season in Fort Worth at the NCAA championships. Blanco will compete for the NCAA individual title on the uneven bars as she qualified with a 9.975 in the regional semifinals, the highest score in that session. The senior has scored a 9.9 or higher 7 times on bars this season, including 3 scores of 9.95 or better.
Safe to say she's pretty good at that, huh? The top 8 finishers on each event and the all-around will receive All-American accolades, with the top 4 named first-team honorees. That competition will take place on April 13th and will be broadcast live on ESPN2.
Stay with us. We'll have more on Tide TV This Week coming up next.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is your ball. Swing, miss, ball game.
Are you kidding me? Here comes Miss Jarvis. Alabama wins.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The Alabama home run hitters, baseball and softball teams, were on the road this past weekend.
The Tide baseball team had a 3-game series against 6th-ranked Arkansas, while softball took on the Missouri Tigers.
In Fayetteville on Friday, the Tide's bats were red hot. Alabama had a season-high 22 hits, with 4 of those being home runs. With the game tied at 1 apiece in the 4th, Alabama scored 8 runs in the 4th and 5th with home runs from Colby Shelton, Matt Gischetti, and Drew Williamson. William Hamiter finished the scoring off in the 9th with a 2-run homer to center field.
Then Ben Hess picked up the win as he allowed just 1 run across 4 innings to improve to 4-0 on the year. Hagan Banks and Connor Ball came out of the bullpen to shut down the Razorbacks. Banks didn't allow a hit across 4 innings as Ball pitched a scoreless 9th as the Tide upset the 6th-ranked Razorbacks in Fayetteville in Game 1, 12-1.
Despite the great start to the series, the Tide dropped the final 2 matchups. In Game 2, Alabama tied the score at 6 with an RBI single from Drew Williamson, but the Hogs scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th for the 9-6 win.
In the series finale on Sunday, trailing 4-3 in the 6th, Tommy Seidel scored on a wild pitch to tie the game at 4. But in the bottom of the inning, Arkansas took the lead back for a single RBI to center for the 5-4 win.
Tough break for Brad Bohannon's squad, and the Tide dominated 6th-ranked Arkansas in Game 1 and had a chance to win both Games 2 and 3, but they couldn't get it done.
The Tide returned home on Tuesday night to take on the Troy Trojans.
That they did, and again, Alabama scored 10 runs on 10 hits with some hot bats. Tommy Seidel led at the plate, going 3 for 3, while Ben Eblin drove in a game-high 3 runs. On the mound, Jacob McNary picked up his 4th win of the year as he allowed just 1 run in 4 2/3 innings as Alabama picked up the win over Troy 10-2. And congratulations to Colby Shelton. He was named a midseason All-Freshman First-Team All-American by Perfect Game. Shelton is 5th in the SEC and leads the Tide with 12 home runs on the season. Shelton has been on fire so far this season and a great way to start his career at Alabama.
One of the top freshmen in the country, a well-deserved honor, someone has had a great career so far on the Crimson Tide, is Montana Fouts. She had a couple of great games this past weekend against the Missouri Tigers.
That she did. Fouts shut out Mizzou in Game 1. She struck out 12 across 7 innings, allowing just 2 hits. Fouts took care of the Tigers' bats, but the Tide needed some runs. With the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 4th, Larissa Pruitt supplied the offense. Pruitt sent this pitch over the wall in right field for the grand slam, the first of this season. And that would be the game-winning hit and all the runs scored in the game as Alabama defeated Missouri in Game 1, 4-0.
And it was Montana Fouts again in Game 2. Fouts threw her 2nd shutout in a row over the Tigers, but this time it went into extra innings. Fouts struck out 14 in 9 innings of action for her 13th win of the year.
With the game scoreless in the top of the 9th, the first at bat was the game winner. Ashley Prangy absolutely crushed the pitch over the wall in right center for the game winner. Kinley Cahalan added a couple more runs with a double down the right field line. Bailey Dowling added the final run for the Tide on this single, scoring Cahalan as Alabama took the victory in Game 2 on Saturday with another 4-0 win.
Patrick Murphy's squad dropped Game 3 to the Tigers 11-3, but got the series win with victories in Games 1 and 2.
And a huge reason for those wins was the pitching of Montana Fouts. And for her performance, Fouts was named the SEC Pitcher of the Week for the 2nd time this season. Fouts threw 16 innings, not allowing a run while striking out 26 batters.
That is an insane stat, Kenzie. And along with SEC Pitcher of the Week honors, Fouts was also named the Wilson National Fast Pitch Coaches Association and D1 Softball National Pitcher of the Week for the 2nd time this season as well. Fouts becomes the first player in Crimson Tide history to win the award twice in the same season.
Hey, congratulations to Montana on those honors, but the Alabama football team began practice week 3 on Monday. We will have highlights and hear from Coach Saban coming up next. Plus, we get a visit from a 2-time national champion? How often does that happen? That and more coming up next right here on TideTV This Week.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Here comes the Tide.
Leave it all on the floor. If there's a knock on the door, don't leave us in, we the boys.
He can go. Burst at speed.
Go big, go home. Let's go. Go big, go home.
One right. Milrow 40. Milrow 30. Got it. Complete. Isaiah Bond. Touchdown, Crimson Tide.
Make the rules not follow. Go big, go home. Go home.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. I am Kenzie Hughes alongside Delaney Jones, and the Alabama Crimson Tide football team continued spring practice this week.
The Tide began week 3 of spring practice on Monday.
That they did. Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide practiced 3 times this week. The Tide held practice number 6 on Monday and the 7th practice of the spring on Wednesday. Coach Saban and the Tide held their first scrimmage of the spring on Friday as well.
And after Friday's scrimmage, the team will take a few days off from the practice field and return on Monday for practice number 9 of 15. Friday's scrimmage was the first of 3 scrimmages, with the final scrimmage inside Bryant-Denny Stadium on April 22nd for the Tide's annual A-Day game.
We got a long way to go. We got a lot of guys that, don't have a lot of confidence in what to do, don't have a lot of confidence in how to do it, and don't have a lot of understanding in why it's important to do it that way. But that's why we need to practice, and hopefully we can focus on what we need to do to develop and improve and not be so concerned about the outcome. I'm not pleased with where we are. I'm not disappointed in where we are. I think it's just a work in progress that we got to keep grinding through, each and every day.
Last week, we shared some special moments of some of the football players visiting some local schools, reading, and spending some time with the students.
And this past week, Coach Saban and Miss Terry and several members of the Crimson Tide football team gave back as they helped build a local home for a Tuscaloosa family.
So grateful, very grateful. This is a blessing, and it's an honor to be out here with all you guys.
The city of Tuscaloosa gives us so much, and we're so thankful for our support, and it's a great thing to be able to give back.
A small D is a big thing because a lot of people are less fortunate, and for them to be able to receive, it's a big thing, it's a blessing.
Absolutely incredible stuff that those guys are doing. And the Alabama swimming and diving team has wrapped up their season. The Tide concluded this year's competition at the NCAA Championships. Derek Moss won the Men's Elite 90 Awards, and Kenzie McMahon won not 1, but 2 national titles, the first women's swimmer to ever win 2 national championships in program history.
An amazing end to a great career here at Alabama for Kenzie McMahon. And earlier this week, I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with the 2-time national champion about her national titles and her career finishing up for the Crimson Tide. I just want to start by saying congratulations on the wins, Kenzie. You're the first woman in program history to win multiple NCAA women's titles, one in the 500-yard freestyle, one in the 1650-yard freestyle. How did it feel getting those wins?
Well, first off, thank you so much. It was super incredible way to end my NCAA career. It's been a lifelong dream of mine, and to end on that high note with my coaches and my teammates, really couldn't have asked for anything better.
Now, you went into the 500 free as a 23 seed. What was your mentality heading into that race as you're walking out behind the block?
In the morning, I really just wanted to make a spot back in the A final. If you have a lane, you have a chance. And so then the entire day, just focus on my process of what I could do in my warm-up, my dynamic, with nutrition, recovery, all of those little things that really add up to what happens in the big swim. And then in the race, just dove in and did my routine and did what I know how to do best, which is race.
Now, how did you and your coach prepare for this meet? What was kind of the strategy heading into both these races for you?
So throughout this entire season, we've really focused on consistency in training. There's been times in the past where I've had really highs in training where it'll be like an incredible practice here, but then you have a low the next day. And so just trying to keep those consistent workouts throughout the entire year. And we knew that because it had been such a consistent year in my training that heading into those races, if I just executed it could go really well.
Now, you were in Knoxville in one of the fastest pools in the nation, people cheering as you parade out behind the block for your final. How incredible was that environment?
It's such a fun environment. NCAA's is one of the biggest meets in the world, and just the energy, you just soak it all in. Like, some people look serious behind the blocks. I don't think I stop smiling until I get up on the blocks just because I'm so happy to be there, and it's fun looking out in the crowd and seeing like your teammates, your parents, all the people that just love and support you all year long.
You closed out your swimming career here at Alabama, winning national titles in your final 2 races. What have you learned from your coaches and your teammates, and what's been the best part of your time here as an athlete?
I think the best part of my time here has just been the growth that I've been able to have in these last 5 years. I came to Alabama looking to try to develop as the best all-around person I could be, as a student, as an athlete, giving back to the community, and to be able to grow as a leader. And the university has absolutely been able to provide a lot of opportunities to grow in a lot of different areas. And so I think that the biggest takeaway has been just seeing all the obstacles that we've gone through as a team and trying to learn how to grow from them and come out stronger has made all the difference. And then also learning how to lean on your supporters. There are so many people here that have your best interests in mind. You make a plan with your coaches, you set goals with your teammates, and everyone just really builds off of each other's momentum and tries to make each other better.
I know my last question for you, Kenzie, just now that you're done with college, what's next? What's the plan?
So even though I'm done with collegiate swimming, I'm definitely not done with the sport. I still feel like I have a lot to give the sport, and super excited to be transitioning into my professional phase of it. And while no one really knows what that looks like in swimming, definitely excited to navigate it. So next I have open water nationals, and then I'll have world championship team trials this summer, and we'll take it from there.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today. Good luck on the rest of your career, and roll Tide.
Thank you, roll Tide.
How about some noise at the Rhodes House? Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy. And Alabama takes the lead. That's well hit to center. Montana found Scott. Jenna Johnson. Perfectly executed. She's looking for more. That's gone. Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. It was a busy week here at the Capstone for Alabama athletics, and there were a lot of teams competing, with one of those being the Alabama track and field team.
Dan Waters' squad was split up between 4 meets in 3 different states. Several records were broken across the 4 meets on the weekend. One of those was a new school record in the 400-meter hurdles at the Texas Relays. Chris Robinson set the Alabama school record with a time of 49:10.
Vincent Kieprop also set a new school record. Kieprop broke the Alabama school record in the 10,000-meter event at the Stanford Invitational with a time of 27:57.63.
The Tide closed out the Texas Relays with another school record, this one in the 4x400-meter relay. The Tide finished under 3 minutes with a time of 2:59.15. Caleb McRae, Tarsis Oregot, Leander Forbes, and Chris Robinson combined to record the 2nd fastest time in the country this season and 5th fastest in NCAA history, Kenzie.
Wow, those guys know how to move. And with that great weekend with several school records broken, the Alabama men's track and field team moved up 38 spots in the rankings this week from 45th to number 7. What a move for the Crimson Tide. They're getting up there, man. The Alabama men's tennis team played a couple of matches here at home this past weekend. The men dropped a 6-1 decision to Vanderbilt on Friday, and on Sunday, it was Senior Day. João Ferreira was recognized as part of the program's Senior Day festivities. The Brazil native will receive a degree in business over the summer. On Senior Day, the Tide took on 12th-ranked Mississippi State. The Tide won the doubles point, but dropped 4 of the 6 singles matches as they almost upset the 12th-ranked Bulldogs. But Mississippi State prevailed 4-3.
And the Alabama women's tennis played a pair of matches as well. The Tide dropped their first match on Friday to Vanderbilt 4-0, but bounced back on Sunday to defeat Kentucky 4-1.
Oh, we love a bounce back. A big win for Jenny Main's squad as her final season as head coach of the Crimson Tide is winding down.
And Jay Sewell and the Alabama men's golf team wasn't at home this past week, but they didn't have to travel far. The men's team competed at the Mossy Oak Challenge, just across the state line in West Point, Mississippi. The Tide finished 6th in the 18-team tournament. Cannon Claycomb tied for 11th overall to lead the Crimson Tide to 9 under par at 207.
And it was a big weekend for the Alabama rowing team in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Alabama swept all 6 races against the Oklahoma Sooners and won 5 of 6 against the 18th-ranked Tennessee Lady Vols. This week, head coach Glenn Poutre and the Crimson Tide will travel to Sarasota, Florida for the Big Ten Invitational.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next in just 90 seconds.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is your ball. Swing, miss, ball game.
Hammer puts it into play.
Struck him out looking with a fastball. Spectacular.
In the dirt. Here comes Jim Jarvis. Alabama wins.
Louisa has the ability to score 995 and up. It's definitely going to be that, in my opinion. Incredible job finishing that game. Man, this is going to be a really big bar score for Alabama.
Alabama comes to town with a statement win in game one. New season high 22 hits, 12-1, and snaps Arkansas's 15-game winning streak here at Bob Walker Stadium.
This is clear. Facing a 2-2 count. This one hit towards center, and diving to make the catch is Andrew Pinckney.
Wow, what a catch. Pruitt into right, to the wall. It is caught by Jackson, or is it out? It got out of here. Larissa Pruitt, her first SEC hit.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. So those were our ATI Plays of the Week. Now, let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
And Luisa Blanco qualified for the NCAA championships as she earned her spot at the championships with a 9.975 on the uneven bars.
She's awesome, man. You know who else is awesome? Montana Fouts, because she was named the SEC and National Pitcher of the Week as she threw 2 complete game shutouts this past weekend against Missouri, including one that went 9 innings. Fouts struck out 26 batters across 16 scoreless innings in the 2 wins.
And Larissa Pruitt hit her first career home run in a grand fashion as she had the game-winning hit, driving in the only runs of the game with this grand slam in Game 1 of Alabama's series win over the Missouri Tigers.
Wow, man, what a hit by the freshman there for the game winner. You love to see the young guys step up, and congratulations to her and all of our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week. And thank you for joining me this week, Delaney. It's been amazing having you here.
It's been an absolute great opportunity to host with you, Kenzie. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. We look forward to seeing you guys here back next week for another episode of TideTV This Week.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,